breed are you here for? Doggy.
No, it is.
Streaming.
What?
Said you streaming?
Always. So moderate your speech. You're being recorded.
Oh yeah. Fuck me in the ass, shut. You're sweet doggy too.
You're gonna get me demonetized, you son of a bitch. Kill yourself, digger. Well, digger, very soon, hopefully, fingers crossed, very soon I will begin fighting bosses. I got several queued up.
Oh yeah.
I just need to get some Greaves. And ideally, well, ideally I get some Greaves. Really, I need to get enough carry capacity to be able to wear the armor I've got. Hopefully, while I'm doing that, I get Greaves. Would be ideal. Getting easier to farm. I can now kill him in 2 hits. Just hope it doesn't take me as long as it took me last time.
Yeah. And Shadow, the first episode of this next season. Very slow. It was all set up. And pretty much like almost solely just the main character doing stuff. I guess there were flashbacks with other people, but the main storyline was just her going around doing stuff, and I was like, man. Like, I shit you not, a third of the episode was her just trying to build a bridge.
Damn it.
But Steve Zahn's in this show, Shadow.
Who?
Steve Zahn.
Never heard of him.
What the fuck are you talking about, Shadow? He's Steve Zahn.
Never heard of him.
So I guess, are you being
What?
serious that Steve Zahn?
Yeah.
So, let's see.
Alright. If I run out of pickled fowl feet, or if I run out of my pickled fowl foot without getting Greaves, I'm just gonna...
I guess I don't think you've seen White Lotus.
Nope.
And in the Planet of the Apes movie, he was a fucking ape, so you won't be able to recognize him from that. I guess you've probably not seen Captain Fantastic. he has done a lot more voice acting. I guess, Shadow, do you remember the third Planet of the Apes movie of the new ones, like the third in the trilogy of Caesar?
Is that the one with Woody Harrelson?
Yes.
I remember Woody Harrelson was in it.
Well, I guess there's a called Bad Ape. He is like more articulate than the other monkeys, but he's also very like goofy and doesn't fully understand what's going on in many cases. He's just a little out there. That was Steve Zahn's character.
I said I was
But
only gonna finish off that foul foot, but since I ate another, might as well continue. Oh, come on. Fucking greatsword. Jesus Christ. At least the greaves are like one of the lesser pieces. I can't get the greaves. It's not the end of the world.
he was in one episode of Monk as Jack Monk Jr. Know you like Monk?
I'm guessing this is the enemy that I've killed most in all of Elden Ring. Almost has to be. Yep. Greaves. So it's not greaves that I meant. What the fuck did I mean? Gauntlets.
Honestly, Shadow, Steve Zahn has been like a kind of a side character in just a shit ton of things, but not a main character really. I guess he's been a main character in in a few voice acting things. But he's not really been like more front and center main character in the last few years, or until the last few years. But he was in 7 episodes of The Righteous Gemstones. Did you watch that?
Nope.
I think you might like that. It is an irreverent comedy about a family who are like just like mega church preachers. And the whole thing, the whole joke about the thing is that essentially it is like a joke commentary on the fucking real mega church preachers, because they're all like shitty, immoral, greedy pieces of garbage that simultaneously preach like they're great men who are saving people from sin.
Sure. Sure. Classic
And
preacher.
essentially the joke of the righteous gemstones is that you get to see the behind the scenes of them being pieces of shit, greedy, garbage people. But I think it's also like a classic, it's kind of like Succession, but less serious. Because, the whole thing about Succession is, uh, it's supposed to be a show that's essentially based off of the Murdoch family and Fox News. But with the Righteous Gemstones, it's like instead of, trying to vie for taking over a giant media conglomerate, you're vying to take over a giant mega church. Except in fucking, what's it called? Succession. You've at least got one or two kids who you could say were competent enough to take over the family business. And Righteous Gemstones, they're all fucking idiots.
Oh boy, it's fun to say good morning, USA. Enter the ever jail.
But I guess, you know,
You guess what?
I'm gonna send you a picture of Steve's off real quick. I assume you'll write.
Surely I can now equip. Yes, I can. Okay, now I just need the gauntlets. Can't say that I recognize this guy. Good morning, USA. Do, 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 do. Started watching American Dad bigger.
Would you say it's better than watching American Dad?
No, that wouldn't even make sense.
Well, that's why I was confused. I thought you were comparing something to being better than watching American Dad, but I did not know what you were talking about.
No, I said I've started watching American Dad.
That makes more sense. Although the idea that you did it doesn't make sense. But your sentence itself makes sense.
Why you don't like American Dad?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's bad, but I also like American Dad, Family Guy, South Park. All those things feel much more watchable and reasonably funny when you're in high school, maybe college. But I think once you become like a full-fledged adult, you know, it's the shows. What is it? Is it series shows the ones that don't have an overarching like week to week, or is it serialized shows that do have the overarching week to week, plots?
I have no idea. I want to say serial don't have plots. Well, no, episodic. Episodic would not have week to week.
Okay, yeah. So I guess essentially episodic brain rot comedy shows don't. They just don't do it for me. And for me, I'm like, if it doesn't have an actual plot that follows, week to week and has meaningful character building, I can't watch it. I mean, I don't need to watch frickin', Game of Thrones and, these epic dramas that have these character arcs and these like episode to episode storylines. But I think that there are plenty of good comedies that have, a full story episode to episode, big, plot lines weave through, and, just higher quality TV. Now, if you're watching it being like, I put it on in the background while I do something else, and every once in a while I hear a joke that I'm like, pretty funny. Be like, yeah, I can see that. But I feel like do you pay attention during one of those types of shows?
I
So,
mean, for the most part.
because I feel like those are perfect background shows where everyone's Peter. He made a joke that was referencing something, and then they cut to the reference, and they cut back to the show, and I saw that joke on TV, funny.
All right, time to
Yeah,
kill.
Shadow. I feel like
What?
was a little mean to you there.
Huh?
I said I feel like I was a little mean to you there. I don't want to. It felt like I just completely belittled your taste in watching that show.
Well, I mean, you certainly did. But I mean, let's be honest.
It just felt rude.
I mean, do I even need to snipe these guys? No, right? I mean, I shouldn't need to, but you never know. You never know what could be the thing that takes it down. You get mobbed by a bunch of enemies and trapped in a corner, get staggered. Really, I need something that makes me unstaggerable. Would love that. That would make me unstoppable. But I don't think there is such a thing. I mean, there is a poise attribute, so I can decrease my ability to get staggered, but I don't think I can ever totally. I'm gonna kill this guy in Castle Morn. Shit, I was supposed to go over there. Oh well. I'm gonna teach these guys to mourn, alright. I had no idea that American Dad was still, like, ongoing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Is Family Guy still on?
Yeah.
Good God. Because it's like, I can almost accept The Simpsons because it feels like the progenitor. Like it was kind of the original episodic dick family sitcom cartoon that was weird and goofy. And granted, like obviously there was like the Flintstones and Jetsons and stuff like that, but I feel like the Simpsons was a kind of new level, and like they got like weird wacky with it sometimes, like the whole thing, who killed
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns. I was gonna say Bitters, and I was like, Bitters is like sidekick, isn't it? It was like his secretary.
Bitters doesn't sound... Smithers. You're thinking of Smithers.
Smithers. Yeah. But yeah, it's like they did stuff like, having a whole plot line around Mr. Burns dying and it ended up being Maggie, and stuff like the Treehouse of Horror, running for like 25 years straight now.
Yeah.
Or I guess if The Simpsons is still running too.
I believe it is.
But, yeah, it feels like The Simpsons were kind of the first of that vein of TV show. Which I believe The Simpsons was actually originally like a 3 to 5 minute little snippet of like a variety show or a talk show or something like that in like the 80s. The 80s are like 90s. And then eventually, somebody was like, we could make this into an entire TV show, and then they did. But I will say, admittedly, Shadow, I have not seen much of American Dad, but I for some reason respect it more than Family Guy. Other than the Family Guy Star Wars stuff, that is low key like 8.5 out of 10 solid shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the first season of American Dad so far, so I can definitely imagine, as it goes on, they probably, get more of what, they Flanderize it, I'm sure. Just like Family Guy did, obviously.
I think for me, American Dad, it feels way more like absurdist just right off the bat, with him being like a secret agent housing an alien and a like Nazi scientist in a fish. And I think I for some reason I can respect the more absurdist base concept compared to just a random, I don't even know what Peter does for work, if anything, but a random man in New England who is, just really fucking stupid and somehow gets up to insane antics. And then every once in a while fights a chicken for 7. Okay.
Originally, I believe he worked in like a toy factory. But yeah, I mean, it's both more and less absurdist. Like more absurdist in that he's a CIA guy and they have some crazy, they put this Olympic. I thought they were gonna explain it, but they didn't. Like the The first episode opens with them like
Wait, time
having
out.
the alien.
The fish is an Olympian?
Yeah, so the fish was a German Olympian who was gonna beat the American Olympian, so they switched his brain into a fish's body.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
I'll be honest, Shadow. I assumed he was like a Nazi scientist.
nope.
I don't know why I
So yeah, I mean, it's in that way it's more absurd. Like, but then at least, like I say, at least so far, there's a lot less of there are no cutaway gags. Uh,
because honestly, it's like I'm okay with some cutaway gags, but the problem with Family Guy is it is like,
nonstop.
well, it's not just nonsense. It's that there's so many cutaways.
Yeah, I said nonstop.
Oh, nonstop. Sorry, I thought you said nonsense. I'm sick. My ears are a little clogged. Got a head cold. But yeah, it is nonstop. And an additional thing about is not only are they nonstop, every once in a while they just drag on really long.
Yeah.
Like anytime Peter fights the chicken, it's just a third of the episode dedicated to him fighting the chicken.
Well, now
And
hold
that's
on.
all it
I love
is.
the chicken fights. Those aren't cutaways though.
Are you sure they're not cutaway?
No. I mean, yes, I'm sure. Asterisk, asterisk. I can't definitively say that none of them are, but in general, I know they are not. That's just like the plot of
But
the episode.
but like I think like for example, one of the cutaways that's really long. I believe there's a cut. Peter's trying to like pick up a
The
frog,
frog, yeah, yeah.
a dead frog,
I was
and
gonna
throw it
mention
out.
that.
And
Yeah,
that's the probably the most egregious example. But I think you also see it in non-cutaways when it's like Peter falls down and he just goes,
yeah,
and yeah, he does that for like 30 full seconds. But it's like really jokes. Overall, yeah, some of it's funny. Maybe most of it's funny. But I need something to stimulate my mind. Even if it's not like genius level intrigue and subterfuge and, intertwined plots that really, fucking catch you off guard and make you think. It's like I just need to have a baseline of, is this a well story with good characters who interact in fun and inventive ways? Like, I feel like the last Airbnb show really shook things up in the cartoon world. Because before that, I can't really think of any TV shows that were like legit full season arcs that had like stakes, in the show. At least like in children's shows. And I don't really know if there were any animated adult shows like Family Guy, and although I guess Family Guy's not really an adult show. think it's too inappropriate for kids. I mean,
What's
maybe
that
not
now?
young kids. I was saying, show change things up with animated shows for kids because before then there weren't any shows that had overarching, serialized plot lines and stakes and stuff like that. And then I was saying, but I guess, and I said, but I didn't know. I don't really adult animation like Family Guy. And then I was questioning whether Family Guy is really adult animation. I was like, because I guess it's for kids, but I guess it can't really be for young kids. It's more like 13 and up, would you say? Arbitrarily.
I mean, maybe. Get fucked, bird. Oh. Yeah, anyway, thus far, um, the show, American Dad, has been less wacky than Family Guy is. Like no cutaways. For the most part, they haven't thus far done that thing where you know, a character dies, but then they're just back next episode because they don't, care about continuity kind of thing. Like,
They do that in Family Guy?
yeah, I mean, not like all the time, but I mean, they and
It's
they
like, I
have had
know that
characters
it
that die.
has a lot of stuff where, like, Peter would be brutally injured in a way that you're like, God, how is he alive? And then, next episode, he's perfectly back to normal. Or possibly even, like, later on in the same episode, he's back to normal.
Yeah. Well, they did do that once, but certainly Family Guy does not care at all about uh, continuity. I mean, there was a whole fucking end of a season where Stewie finally killed Lois, and then fuck, I don't. Stewie became president or something. I don't know how that happened, but I distinctly remember they were in the Oval Office. Anyway, Lois comes back from the dead, uh, or she was believed to be dead, right? But it turns out she lived, and then she fights Stewie to the death in the Oval Office, I believe. Uh, and then I want to say it just turns out to have been a dream or something. Classic, bullshit. But anyway, certainly they don't care about keeping up with continuity.
Yeah. I guess it is weird to show that the base concept, you have a CIA operative, at least I believe CIA, who has an alien and a German Olympian in a fishbowl, uh, has less wacky episodes than Family Guy. Well, although I'm sure it probably gets more wacky as you
Yeah,
go
yeah. I
on.
mean, even Family Guy was not wacky in the first couple seasons. They had extremely reasonable plots for the most part. So I've only seen. If you're comparing season one Family Guy to season one American Dad, it's probably way wackier.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
Because
multiple
like right
episodes
now,
erased people's memories and You
Because I
know,
was just thinking of like the fact that there was an episode where like Death sprains his ankle with Peter for a week, and then Peter
you know
goes
what? You're right,
crazy.
and that might have actually been in season one. That was one of the earlier. There was an episode where
Really?
Death got into a Death was driving drunk and hit a tree, and Super Death came uh, and took him away, or something like that. Death
And
died.
you know what, Shadow? That's something that joke that I do laugh at, but I'm also like I can't respect the entirety of everything. Though. I do enjoy jokes. I enjoy some of the references, but it's like on principle, I feel like I can't get down with it. Although, just the idea of you Death drives drunk, hits a tree, and then Super Death takes him. It gets a laugh out of me.
Well, yeah, and there were multiple episodes where, you know, God or Jesus were there.
That is true. What do you think about the episode? Do we go to hole? And it turns out that it's like a fucking Chinese sweatshop cesspool of like fucking, you know, diseased and grotesque elves.
Classic. And I mean, American Dad is, uh, or like Seth MacFarlane is also behind American Dad,
Really?
and it came out 6 years after Family Guy, so Family Guy was already deep into the craziness when American Dad premiered by the same guy.
So,
So,
so does he also voice multiple characters in?
probably. I don't know which ones because I don't remember. There's certainly been voices where I was like, that sounds like a Family Guy voice. So I'm guessing that's him because he does a lot of the voices in Family Guy, obviously. But I don't know which ones.
Did you ever watch his Star Trek joke show? Like the
The Orville.
Star Trek satire?
Yeah,
The
it's
Orville?
very good.
I did not expect that.
No,
I
yeah, like
assumed that it was kind of
if you
mid.
haven't seen it,
No.
it is legitimately in some cases better than Star Trek. Like it is, they do like a lot of like serious the serious episodes that Star Trek would do, like serious topics, but then,
Like abortion.
they also include jokes. Yeah.
Like abortion.
There's an entire plot line that is about, I mean, there's some debate about what exactly it's supposed to be analogous to, but it's clearly it's clearly about like shit, fuck you. No, 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 no. This bird. It's clearly about like uh, transgender people or something along those lines.
Mm.
But there's like a whole mini episode. Well, maybe not mini episode long, but there's a anyway. There's a plot line about that. Among many other things, there's a plot line about an alien or a robot race that like genocided their creators because they were like enslaved, and there
Mm-hmm.
was a war and they just exterminated their creators, and that was a whole thing. So yeah, It's not just
So
entirely
when they
jokes.
genocided their creators and the Orville shows up, are they like, well, time to genocide some humans, or were they like, we'll talk?
They absolute well, uh, they're not like we'll talk. They they sent a spy into the Federation or whatever it's. I don't know if it's called the Federation in the Orville, but the Federation.
So I
They
guess the
sent a
robots sent a spy, or the Fed
the the robots sent a
spy to the
spy
robot.
to be
Okay.
be like, hey, we're considering joining the Federation. Can we send someone to be on one of your ships and kind of report back how it goes? But it turns out he was a spy, you know, trying to gain info about the Federation because they were like, we can't trust that we can coexist with any biological life because blah blah blah. You know, they eventually decide. Well, they eventually are
Persuaded to be like, hey, not all.
persuaded to learn our peaceful ways by force. Uh, so, yeah, I actually need to see the. Uh,
When you say learn peaceful ways by force, was it like, we're chill with you as long as you're chill with us, but if you're not chill with us, we'll destroy you.
yes, it was. They like came up with a weapon that could destroy the Kalon, which is the AI
Inquiries.
race. And so they were like, "You're gonna stop this, or we're gonna destroy you." And then the Kalons are like, "Okay, cool. Just so you know, we're gonna figure this out, and eventually we're gonna find a way to circumvent your weapon, and then we will destroy you." Uh, so, but the Kalon that was a spy, joined the good guy's side. He was like, "No, you know, we can't genocide them. They're actually good people. We can coexist."
So their spy was like, you know what? I think they're okay. And the rest of the people are like, oh, no, they aren't.
They're like, "You
They're going to.
are acting illogically. You need to be tuned up. Your programming has clearly gone awry." But I don't know how it goes from there. I think maybe eventually because eventually you know, they're having classic Star Wars. Every new Star Wars show, they're in some war with a different major alien race, and they've teamed up with the last one. First they were at war with the Klingons, and then in the next show, the Klingons have joined the Federation, and they're at the war. Or they're at war with the
Oh, you're
Romulans,
talking
and
about
then
Star Trek. You said Star Wars show, and
yeah, Star Trek.
I was like, I don't really know if they do a lot of race wars in Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, look, Smithing Stone 2. Thank God I got that. I got my claw talisman. The most important talisman there is. Anyway, I need to watch I think the third season. I don't know what's going on because they like rebranded it. Like it was the Orville, and then they released a new thing that was like the Orville, like New Horizons or something like that.
Junior.
But it seemingly is just this. It's like the third. It's like they have a third season, but they decided to name it something else. It doesn't appear to be like any sort of a thing where you would think, oh, that's like a follow up show. That's like a spinoff or anything.
I
It's
guess,
just
is it on a new network?
it could that could be the reason. I'm not sure.
I think sometimes when it goes to a new network, there's either an issue with like the old network had a deal and you can't call it by the exact same name, or B, they need to their, I don't know, maybe there's like a dictate by a higher up at the network who's like, give it a new name. Just like how like fucking
Freshen it
uh
up.
but it's just like how whenever a company buys another media company, they're like, that company that everybody knows and has brand recognition, let's just fucking change the name.
It was
I see
HBO,
this
then it was HBO
specifically with
Go, then it was
HBO.
HBO
Yeah.
Max, and now now it's just Max.
Well, I took it no matter. It's all out your own.
Strengthen armament. I don't have any Smithing Stone 6. This is where does man gotta go to Smithing Stone 6s? Digger, I had to delete, or I thought I had to delete Pokemon Go from my phone and re-download it to like fix some bug. As it turns out, I really just needed an update, but I thought like I was thinking like there was some data corruption or something that was causing it to be buggy.
Bioware had taken over your phone
So I
to steal
deleted
your
it and
Pokemon
reinstalled
Go.
it, and all my battle parties are no longer there. Those are saved locally. So like
Ah,
with every rocket, or every different type of rocket, it like defaults to your last party, which is good because anytime I fight a water grunt, I want my team of, I don't know, electric Pokemon or whatever set I found that was good against all the water Pokemon. Um, but now I have to go in and like reconfigure them all because they're all now all just defaulting to like whatever recommendation the AI comes up with, you know, which are always bad. Like you have a level 50 Ho-Oh with fire moves, a level 50 perfect
but
Ho-Oh
it's
with
not a
fire
fire
moves.
type, so it doesn't get to go up against the grass guys.
Yeah, so why don't instead we take your Monferno that's level like 15 and doesn't even have fire moves?
Mm-mm.
Monfernape? Monf You know what I mean. The monkey. The fire monkey.
Infernape?
Infernape.
Are you talking about its like baby version, Chimchar?
Chimchar, Infernape, what's the middle one? Monferno? Is it Monferno?
It might be.
Okay, because that's what I said, and that's what I was thinking of. But I was like, I don't know. Oh god, it's nighttime. Ah, fuck it. Wait a minute, I have any, I don't know if I have any sword stone keys or stone sword keys. I mean, I do have one, it seems.
Okay, Shadow. Need me to hop off. I gotta be
Okey-doke.
up early in the morning. Good luck.
proud. Your only mistake. Well, tarnished. I am I'm here by decree. How utter this grafting is tainted the. If you ask, you call the winds run. I'm certain.
Where did ye flee, my sweetings? Come out from whence ye hide. There are books and light ablaze. Where did ye flee, my sweetings? Come out from whence ye hide. There are books and light aplenty. Dither not. Come out, say I, or will ye be gravestones, to be better born anew?
Good night. Are you here as a...